Now it's time for some New York Mets baseball talk. Here's Gary Mack bringing you the latest news and analysis from Mets Nation and the world of baseball on another edition of Mets Musings.
And hello and welcome to another edition of Mets Musings, episode number 284. And the drama continues. The Mets have played a little bit better lately, but boy, that bullpen is a disaster. And Terry keeps going to the bullpen, and wow, I don't know what the answer is there. They've got to get some of these pitches to go a little bit longer in the game. You know, sometimes you just have to push him. Don't understand what he did last night. Perfectly good, winnable game. 5-1. And then they blew it. Gsellman goes 6, 83, 84 pitches, something in that range. Could have went more, in my opinion. I was at the game. Everybody thought he'll go to the 7th. Push him through the 7th. No, they pinch hit for him in the 6th. The bullpen comes in, blows the game, 5-5 tie. Josh Smoker comes in the 8th. Bam, home run. Terry wasn't on the ball last night. Pulled Gsellman. He brought in Ramirez to pitch to Will Myers. Myers with the bases loaded. Myers takes him deep. Hits the wall. Looked like a home run, to be honest, but they said it was short of the orange line. 2-run double or single. He hit it so hard. Who the heck? We were watching the ball. I don't even know where Myers ended up, but and that tied the game 5-5. And then when asked afterwards about bringing in Ramirez to face Myers, because it was just a month or so ago that Ramirez was released from the Giants after Myers took him deep with a grand slam homer. So Terry brings him in the same situation. Bases loaded, Myers at the plate, and he brings in Ramirez. When asked about that, Terry said he didn't know about that situation. Now, I don't know if Terry's not being prepared for these games now. I don't know. Does he want to get fired? I just don't know. But it was that combination. It was the combination of pulling Gsellman because he wanted him to feel good. You know, folks, they're in the business to win games, not to make players feel good. And I think that's where Terry gets himself into problems because he contradicts himself. He tells you on one hand if a player hits, he's going to play, and then he sits down a guy. He tells you that these are adults and they're professional ball players, and if they can't get the job done, he'll find somebody else. But then he pulls a guy out who was getting the job done because he wanted him to feel good. It's very confusing, the messages that he's sending. And look, I've always been a Terry guy. I don't want to fire him or get rid of him. I'm not a Terry Collins haters, but you know what? Time's running out on him. And time's running out on Dan Warthen. I mean, these pitches can't go more than 5-6 innings. I mean, there's something wrong there. There's something in the coaching that's lacking. That A, they get hurt all the time, and B, that there's no stamina with any of these pitches. And we can get Cespedes back, and we can get Cabrera back. Darno is back. But is it going to matter? Is it going to matter if the pitchers can't hold the lead in the bullpen? The bullpen is a shambles right now. Part of it is they're not doing a job, and part of it is Terry is making some moves that shake your head. Jerry Blevins comes in a game with a 6-run lead the other night, and then he's unavailable, according to Terry. Blevins wanted to pitch, but Terry doesn't have him available the next night. Same thing with Sewald. And they've been, probably the two most dependable guys out of that pen. So then he's got to bring in Salas, who's been up and down, Smoker, Edgin, who wasn't bad. And now he's got Ramirez, who is pretty awful. I mean, I don't think has this guy gotten anybody out since he came to the Mets even. I only remember him in 2 games or so. He may have been in another one that I missed, but has he gotten anybody out yet? I mean, the guy's bad. He'll be getting his release again as soon as they can bring up somebody, I guess. But then isn't that the key? Bring up somebody. It's just a head shaker. Now tonight they're going to go and try to win this series with the Padres, and hopefully they can. But look, 5 runs against the Padres should win you a game. This is not a good ball team, the Padres. Not good at all. They can hit, but boy, they don't hit for average. They can hit home runs, but they don't hit for average. Their fielding is so-so. Their pitching is horrible. And this is a team that should be beaten. And like I said, 5-1. They should have beat them. Gazelman left. It was 5-3. And the bullpen just couldn't hold it. And now they're playing tonight, and Montero is pitching because of the weather. And look, it kind of makes sense in a way. You don't want to put DeGrom with schedule start. You don't want to put him out there, have throw 30 pitches and then have a rain delay, and then you're going to lose them. So, it's okay. You can sacrifice Montero, I guess, if you want to call it that. But this is a guy they need to get straightened out, too. This guy has terrific stuff, and if he does what he did in the minors and in spring training, he would be okay. But for some reason, he can't find the plate anymore. He seems to walk a lot of guys. I don't know. But they have to do something. Sandy Alderson's got to do something. He's got to get some relief guys in here, even if they start a revolving door of retreads. Just keep bringing in people until somebody clicks. Because these guys are being overworked and overused, and they'll be useless. They'll be burnt out and useless come the stretch run. And while it's still early in the season and they can get back in this race, it just doesn't look good. It just doesn't look good at all so far. David Wright has been is shut down from his throwing program. I think this is it for David. I mean, really, folks, he can't throw the ball. Is something. I mean, there's got to be something up that they're not telling us. My guess is mid-June he will retire. They're waiting for probably the 60-game mark for the insurance to kick in, and then perhaps he will retire at that point. Or he could just, be out for the season and retire over the winter. But I can't see him coming back. I would be astounded. Now watch, he'll come back in 2 weeks and hit 300 and hit 20 home runs the rest of the season. But I just don't see it. He's not even throwing now. They keep shutting him down. It's just a shame. It's painful to watch somebody's career end this way. And such a nice person and a good ball player. You wish they could all go out and end on a high note and hit a home run in their last at bat and all of those kinds of heroics, but reality doesn't work that way. And we're seeing that with David Wright, and it's really heartbreaking in a way, but I'm sure he will stay with the organization in some capacity. They can make him a roving instructor if they wish. They can do anything along that line. But I'm sure he'll stay in the organization, but I think it's time that he packs it in and retires. And we'll miss you, David, but really it's probably the best for you in your life and your future to not have to struggle like this every day and be put under this pressure to try to get back when it's obvious. I don't think you can do it anymore. But we'll see. Stranger things have happened in this world, and it won't be the first time that I'm wrong, and it won't be the last time that I'm wrong. So Cabrera and Darno, I said already, they are coming back. They're back. Matz and Lugo through rehab starts, got hit a bit hard. They're going to make another rehab start, I believe, Sunday. We'll see how that goes. If they do fairly well, they could be back with the team pretty quickly. Don't know if it's going to help much. It can't hurt at this point to have some fresh arms and bodies there, but we'll see what that all brings about. Hopefully by next week's show, we'll have more to report on that. All right, got a nice guest. I got a guest coming on tonight, a new guest. And we're going to talk Pittsburgh Pirates versus New York Mets right after these messages.
Hey, baseball fans and book fans as well. This is Frank Nappi, author of the Legend of Mickey Tussler series, inviting all of you to learn more about my protagonist, Mickey Tussler, an incredible pitching prodigy who has autism. Follow Mickey's journey as he captures the hearts of fans everywhere with his blazing fastball and indomitable spirit. Please visit Amazon or www.franknappy.com for more information.
Hi, this is the world-famous Mr. Brewtown of BrewtownSports.Podomatic.com. You know, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. Brewtown Sports. You can also listen to the show at Stitcher.com, TuneIn.com, and iTunes.com. And we've got the new one. It's called BrewtownRadio.Weebly.com. But the one that I'm most proud of being on is BaseballPodcast.net. It is the home of great baseball talk shows. Check it out, my show and all kinds of other programs all about Major League Baseball. So check it out. That's BaseballPodcast.net, the home for great baseball talk shows.
The Phillies and Mets rivalry has never been better. Hi, my name is Rich Baxter, and I host Phillies Talk Podcast. I hope you'll join me as we talk all about the Phillies all season long. That's Phillies Talk Podcast at fightinphillies.com. And now back to Gary Mack and this great edition of Mets Musings.
516-619-6341. That is the comment voicemail hotline if you'd like to be a part of the show, and drop us a line, leave us a comment or a voicemail question, anything at all. Call that number 516-619-6341, or go to MetsMusings.com and click on that widget in the middle of the screen, and that's a speak pipe, and you can leave a voicemail right through your computer through your computer's microphone. Or if you prefer to do things the old-fashioned way, send us an email at metsmusings@gmail.com. The Facebook page is facebook.com/groups/MetsMusings, and the Twitter handle is at MetsMusings1. And if you'd like to help out the show, check out our Patreon page. Check out the campaign at patreon.com/MetsMusings. All right, and I'm back, and joining me tonight is Eli Nellis. He is the co-manager, editor, chief bottle washer of the Bucs Dugout, a Pittsburgh Pirates blog, and with the Mets going to the Buccos this weekend, I thought it would be a good time for us to get together and chat a little bit about the Pirates. Eli, welcome to Mets Musings.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. And Eli, the Buccos are struggling a little bit this year, though they've got a better record than the Mets, 22-26, starting to play a little bit better. We were talking before we went on the air about how they're starting to hit maybe a little bit now, but they're 6-4 in their last 10, and 1-2 in a row in Atlanta, winning today. So what happened to this team compared to the last few years when they were in the hunt for the wild card and in the playoffs, and this year now they just really, last year too they didn't play well, and this year they're really kind of struggling. What's really been the main problems?
Well, this year it's a lot of bad luck. It's funny, I was recently talking to a friend of mine. He was saying how he's like, people always say the Mets have bad luck, but look at the Pirates. So it's funny, we can kind of commiserate. They're not really the same issues, but they've just had a little bit of everything this year. They had Jung-Ho Kang can't get into the country because he got a DUI in South Korea, and apparently it's his third, so he can't get out of there. Obviously, Starling Marte suspended for steroids. I mean, you go down the list. Jameson Taillon has, he had a cancer scare, and those are three productive players. Andrew McCutchen is not hitting again, and Gregory Polanco, he's struggling to come around. It's his issues aren't nearly as pronounced as the other guys I mentioned, but he's a guy that's been primed for a breakout that we've been waiting on, and he's been kind of idling so far this year. So really a little bit of everything, and just hasn't really come together for him.
Now, you mentioned McCutchen isn't hitting again. He's only 30 years old. It just seems incredible that he could be, well, let me ask you, do you think he's washed up? Is he an old 30? Is it injuries over the past couple of years catching up to him? What do you think is the issue with him?
It's hard to say. I don't think the people watching him every day, it seems like, nobody really has any more answers than you might, or,
Right.
It's not like we know anything more. It's kind of a mystery. I think it has been some sort of injuries kind of adding up, but I really don't know. People have gotten into the granular bits of his batting, but I think he isn't hitting for power. I don't think there are that many like outliers that say that he has, something, he has a bounce back coming. There aren't many indicators in that regard. It's really a mystery. I read something the other day. Someone compared him to like Tim Lincecum, where kind of these lithe, athletic guys that just got every single ounce of strength and power out of their body and speed. And, once something goes a little off there, they were, obviously Lincecum was just lost. And
right.
That seemed like an apt comparison to McCutchen's batting, where he just, he's always had power, but he's a tiny guy, and he would just kind of whip his body around so violently, and he, just got so much out of that, and it was kind of like everything had to be perfect, and now I don't know. I'm kind of lost too. I think everybody else is. It's
yeah, it's very strange because the guy was such a talent, and to completely lose it in the last year he struggled, and this year, looking at the stats, he's really struggled, and you got to shake your head. How could a guy? If he was 36, you could say, well, the age is catching up to him. But 30 years old, he should be still in his prime. Should have a couple of good years left. But like you say, maybe he just took too much out of his body.
Yeah, it's a mystery. Everyone's scratching their heads trying to figure it out down here. I haven't heard a very good explanation myself, or figured.
Did they send him for eye examinations?
No, I don't know what else they've done. He sat the last 2 days, which is a thing they did last year, and that helped him briefly. I remember, I think it might have been down in Atlanta last year too, that they finally said, well, you're slumping. We're just going to sit you. I think it was 2 or 3 straight games. And he came back and had a few good games after that. But he never did really get on track. They sat him Wednesday and Thursday, and I assume he'll be back for Friday against the Mets. But I don't know. I don't know that they know what's going on either. I think it's a delicate situation because he's been their superstar, and now people are kind of getting upset. There are little rumblings that he should be dropped in the order or something like that because he's been in the 3-hole every night. But it's a touchy situation because he's been the guy for so many years, and then they came very close to trading him last year, but they seem to have smoothed that over. But even just mentally, I think they're trying to sort of be delicate and just give McCutchen the opportunity to get better, but it just, I don't know what else they can do at this point. It's
right.
A mystery to all of us, it seems.
And like you say, it's a delicate situation because he was the face of the franchise for a few years, and to struggle like this is just incredible. And is he in a walk year this year, or?
No, they have an option for next year. Or do they have 2 more years? I think they have an option for next year, which is why they were looking to trade him last off season. There were a lot of rumors of him going to Washington, and yeah, they have him next year if they want him. I forget off the top of my head what that option is. He signed a very team-friendly deal some years ago, and next year would be that option year, I believe. And so that's a situation too where maybe they missed out on getting some value on him by not trading him in the off season. But it's an interesting situation because you don't know what his value is. I thought I was kind of happy to see them holding out for a big return, it seemed, last winter, but now I can't see them getting anywhere close to what they might have gotten. They were rumored to get a lot of the guys that the Washington ended up sending to the White Sox for Adam Eaton. Some of those pitchers, Giolito and Lopez, some combination of guys like that. Mm-hmm. And, I can't see them getting a return like that from him, unless he has a dramatic return, a dramatic bounce back. But I don't know. I'm still scratching my head.
Well, if he does, I hope it starts on Monday. Not this weekend.
Yeah.
Garrett Cole, his name is coming up a lot in trade talks for this team. The Yankees looking for pitching. Well, everybody's always looking for pitching. What's your gut feeling on that? Will he be moved by the trading deadline or even earlier, and or will they hang on to him?
I don't think he's going anywhere this year. He's another guy, they are unlikely to keep him past his arbitration years. They still have a couple more of those. I see why he's a name that gets thrown out there, but I don't know. I haven't even paid that much attention to them, but I don't know that there's that much substance to the rumors, other than obviously teams would be interested in him. But I kind of read that the original, I think it started with one of the New York papers, and it just kind of struck me as the kind of thing where it was just like, oh, here's a guy on some other team. Maybe he can,
yeah.
help one of our guys, one of our teams out.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if they trade him this year, but I don't know. The Pirates surprise me sometimes. Their last few years, they've kind of surprised me the way the moves they've made. So I don't know. I could see it potentially happening if everything goes downhill and they just want to dismantle everything. But this is a team that was very much built for last year and this year and next year, and through a good bit of that time so far, it hasn't happened.
Yeah, they're almost like you said, they're almost built to win now, and you'd hate to see them tear everything down and have to rebuild in some aspect. But I think they're still young enough with enough pieces where they could probably do that with not a huge delay in time. I don't know much about the minor leagues, what they have at the upper levels, especially in the pitching area, but that's the whole thing. Everybody, it's pitching. It's always pitching, and you're getting some good pitching from Ivan Nova this year, who came over from the Yankees. Tell us a little bit about him.
Yeah, he's the latest Ray Searage kind of reclamation project. He had the Pirates pitching coach that had did very well with A.J. Burnett, with J.A. Happ, with Edinson Volquez, guys like that had, they came to Pittsburgh and they got better contracts elsewhere because of that. And they had you remember they had a miss last year with John Neese, but they brought in Nova
had a miss with Bastardo, so.
Nova was just lights out though, and he doesn't walk anybody, and he's been he's been around the zone, but he's been effective. I think whatever a guy comes in with, Searage gets a guy to trust his stuff and tweaks it a little bit, but he's been a guy that they've really gotten a lot out of him, and he's he's their best pitcher right now. Garrett Cole is very good. He's probably the most talented pitcher, but he has his ups and downs. And Nova, is he still in the single digits in walks this year? He has he's just not walking batters, and that's proven to be really effective for him.
And I haven't seen the probables for the weekend, but I saw one, DeGrom against Chad Kuhl. Is that how you say it? Kuhl?
Yeah.
On Friday night. I don't know. We'll see how that holds up. But tell us a little bit about Chad Kuhl.
Chad Kuhl is a guy. He had a run of some not very good starts that he just snapped out of his last time out, which was, you're testing me here. That was Sunday. Anyway, he finally had a good outing. He was kind of on the verge of maybe headed out of the rotation. I don't know, what the team was thinking. But he throws a lot of strikes. Coming up in the minors, I seem to remember, I think he got a lot of grounders, which he hasn't done so far in the majors. But he had a very good start in Boston to start the year, and then had a pretty bad run of luck there. And then finally he went 5 innings against the Phillies, and he could have gone longer. He was hit for because they hadn't scored any runs for him yet. They ended up hitting for him in the, I guess it was the 5th inning. And he's a sinker baller. He's around the zone, and sometimes I guess that leaves stuff to chance for him where he's seen, he doesn't have the stuff that a guy like Nova has that, he's around the zone a lot too, but he can get knocked around if guys are on him. But sometimes he can get some luck and get some fielding behind him and be productive too. So he's a back end of the rotation guy. But,
so we're going to see him Friday night, and then Saturday It looks like Garrett Cole, and Sunday Tyler Glasnow. Tell us a little bit about Tyler.
Which one, Cole?
Glasnow. We pretty much know about Cole. He beats us. So.
Yeah. Glasnow has a lot of talent and hasn't quite harnessed it. He hasn't really. His command still needs a lot of refinement. Everybody was calling for him to be called up all of last year. Everybody was upset that, a lot of people were upset that he wasn't being called up earlier. Then he came up and showed why, as he just walked a bunch of guys. He couldn't control the running game. He's a really tall, lanky guy with kind of a big delivery. So that's been a struggle for him. He's got all the stuff you can't teach. He's got a big fastball. He's got a nice 12-6 curve that's just devastating if he's in control and, ahead of batters and can use it the right way. But too often he's been, coming out, he's not hitting the zone with a fastball, and then he has nothing else to work with. He has a changeup that he barely threw it coming up in the minors. He never trusted it in games. I guess in spring training, I read he had an entirely new changeup that he brought on that he's thrown a bit. But so it's been a learning curve for him. He, if he gets guys on, they run on him a lot. Just he has that big delivery. They've worked on that a little bit, but he's slowly making progress. He's had a few good starts here, and he's just a guy that he really needs to. If he can stay under control, he can be really dominant. If he gets ahead of batters, things like that, he could be untouchable. But when he starts to struggle, it's just he has nothing to turn to, because then if he can't locate his breaking stuff, then everyone knows the fastball's coming, and guys just square it up, and then they get on the base paths and run and run and run. So,
well, the Mets don't
there's
run
a lot of hope. What's that?
The Mets don't run a lot, so he may not have to worry about that part.
Yeah, that's true. But he some teams have taken advantage of that. So I don't know. He's been the number one prospect for a few years, so there are a lot of hopes pinned on him. It seems like every start there's so much pressure going into it. It's almost like not like an ace pitching, but it's like every time he goes out there, everybody wants to see, is this guy good or is he bad? And it's like a referendum every time he goes out. And
right.
It's been kind of a bit of a trip with him so far, but we've seen plenty of pitchers have rough starts, and he has the stuff you can't teach. So I still have pretty high hopes for him.
Well, that should be an interesting matchup because according to what I'm the probables again, who knows what may change. It looks like Matt Harvey's going to be facing against him, who's having his own battle with his own demons, or however you want to put it. So that could be a very interesting matchup, or it could be a 12-10 game.
Yeah, exactly. ESPN will have they'll have enough to talk about between those two guys, but yeah, they better get it in because they could be out of there quickly too. So
Right.
we'll see.
And how's the weather supposed to be this weekend in Pittsburgh?
I think there's some rain in the forecast. I checked it the other day. I forget. It was. I think there's some rain, so I'm not really sure. It was funny to see. I guess DeGrom was scratched tonight. I don't know when you publish this.
Yeah.
Thursday. So he was scratched for weather reasons, and I guess tomorrow might be all right when he's going to pitch. So, but I think we are going to see a little bit of rain Saturday.
Well, we'll see what happens there. I mean, hopefully it is a night game, I believe. So,
yes.
Maybe it'll be early showers, and it'll be nice for the game at the evening. All right, so who is hot on the Pirates right now, would you say, and who's not?
I'd say Adam Frazier is hot. He's a guy that just came up through the minors and just always hit. He was not didn't have like the prospect pedigree, wasn't talked about a lot, but just hit at every level. Finally came up last year and kept hitting, and he that was the one kind of not even really a silver lining, but when Marte went out, it was nice to know that there was a hole for Frazier to get a lot of at bats, and then Frazier promptly got hurt, and he came back a week and a half ago or so, and he just been hitting the cover off the ball. He hit homers the last 2 days, which is not really his thing. He's more of a contact gap-to-gap guy. Mm-hmm. But I guess he hit a homer today, and he hit one last night, and he's really been hitting the ball. So that's nice for a change to have someone have a hot hitter.
Well, not to diminish his home runs, but boy, that ball is flying out of that Atlanta ballpark.
Is it? I haven't seen. I didn't know what their situation was. They up until about 11 o'clock last night, it wasn't flying out for the Pirates, but I haven't seen nearly as much about the Braves. That they're not in the division. I didn't know.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Was, but,
the ball is flying out of that new ballpark. So Mets played down there and didn't fly out as much as it does in Philadelphia or Cincinnati, but that's what they claim.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, and I think he hit it all. Cologne was pitching for the Braves today. That was an afternoon game. I was at work. I wasn't watching it, but yeah, it was probably one of the. It wasn't. Probably wasn't all that impressive, I guess. If in that park against, Bartolo Colon, he was very good for the Mets, but he's struggling so far this year. So I don't know. I believe that was, he had some help with that home run because that's supposedly power's not in his game. He hit 2 down in Atlanta, so I guess that's some evidence right there for that ballpark.
Well, we'll see if he can keep doing it at home against the Mets. Now, Pittsburgh's played well at home, 12-9 and 10-17 on the. I guess 11-17 now on the road. So they're coming home, and the Mets are coming in. We'll see how they do. And I want to thank you for coming on the show tonight. And if you want to plug your site or anything else, now's the time to do it.
It's Bucs Dugout, BUCS Dugout, the SB Nation Pittsburgh Pirates site. I just officially took over as co-manager couple weeks ago, so we're just trying to get things back in order, get some semblance of organization going on. But we're still getting some good stuff up there, so we'll have some stuff up there this weekend for you guys. And
Okay.
yeah, I'm just enjoying starting, getting involved in that. It's a site I've written for a few years now. So I'm trying to run the show and learn the ropes kind of on the job. So just check that out. Yeah, Bucs Dugout. You do the same on Twitter at Bucs Dugout. And yeah, I thank you for having me.
Oh, well, you're very welcome. And I read some of the stuff, folks, so go check it out. A lot of good in-depth. And like I said, there's a soft spot in my heart for Pittsburgh because I went to school around that area, and I root for the Steelers and the Pirates, except when they play the Mets, of course.
Yeah, I don't mind the Mets myself. I got a friend that's a Mets fan that's going to the game with me tomorrow. So yeah, I hope the Pirates win this weekend. But yeah, I hope you guys figure it out this year.
Well, good luck to the Pirates starting on Monday.
All right. Yeah. Hey, thank you very much.
And thanks again, Eli, for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Yep, no problem.
And I'll be back right after this. 516-619-6341. That is the comment voicemail hotline if you'd like to be a part of the show. And drop us a line, leave us a comment or a voicemail, question, anything at all. Call that number, 516-619-6341. Or go to MetsMusings.com and click on that widget in the middle of the screen, and that's a speak pipe, and you can leave a voicemail right through your computer through your computer's microphone. Or if you prefer to do things the old-fashioned way, send us an email at metsmusings@gmail.com. The Facebook page is facebook.com/groups/MetsMusings, and the Twitter handle is at MetsMusings1. All right, I want to thank my guest once again, Eli Nellis of Bucs Dugout. Go check it out. A great blog, and he's going to be working on a podcast soon, so be sure to check that out as well. The Mets hit the road for 3 games over the holiday weekend, going to Pittsburgh to play the Buccos. They come home 4-4 against the Milwaukee Brewers, in time to exact some revenge on the Brewers for beating them out in Milwaukee. So that's what's on tap for this week. Well, that does it for this edition of the podcast. This edition is brought to you by our Patreon supporters. If you would like to help in keeping this podcast going, I urge you to check out our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MetsMusings. So thanks for listening to this episode, and until next time, keep the faith, stay optimistic, and let's go Mets.